Far above the quiet hush of Earth, there is a place where time stretches and silence glows. In the boundless black between stars, the solar system unfurls like a luminous tapestry, gently turning through the ages. But here is a mystery to begin with. Saturn's moon, Triton, though cloaked in dense orange haze, has lakes and rivers, not of water, but of liquid methane and ethane, flowing beneath an atmosphere heavier than our own. It is a world of alien rains and freezing oceans, drifting in the shadows of its majestic ringed host. As night deepens, let this small truth from far away stir the imagination like a whisper among the stars, floating softly on the edge of sleep. The sun, at the heart of all, holds the solar system in its steady glow, an ancient anchor of fire and fusion. It breathes in rhythms of flares and winds, casting particles across the vast celestial sea. This golden star, which once formed from the quiet collapse of a dusky cloud of gas and dust, now nurtures planets, moons, and frozen relics in distant orbits. Its surface crackles with light, yet from afar it appears calm, like a lantern hanging in the great cosmic hall. Each planet dances around it, bound not by chains, but by invisible lines of gravity, curving gently through the blackness. In the silence between Mercury and Neptune, this dance plays on, slow and unending, like a lullaby in space. Mercury, the closest planet to the Sun, is not the hottest, but it is one of the most mysterious. It spins slowly while racing swiftly along its orbit, creating long days of sunlight, followed by chilling nights of darkness. Its surface is quiet now, a rocky canvas of ancient craters and sun-baked ridges, but once it shimmered with fire from the chaos of planetary formation. There is no air here, no wind to carry sound or scent, only the hush of empty plains and shadows cast by untouched peaks. In some craters where sunlight never reaches, frost lies hidden, like secret memories frozen in time. Though Mercury passes nearest the burning star, it keeps its secrets wrapped in silence, like a secret whispered to the void, gentle enough to be forgotten but deep enough to dream of. Next comes Venus, cloaked in thick, golden clouds that swirl like a forever dusk. Beneath its brilliant haze, the surface burns with temperatures hot enough to melt lead, yet from space it glows softly, like a lantern shrouded in fog. Venus spins in the opposite direction to most planets, a slow, dreamy twirl that takes longer than its journey around the Sunday. Its skies are filled with a gentle light, dimmed by carbon clouds thick with sulfuric acid, where winds rush at hurricane speeds above a world frozen in time. There may have once been oceans here, long vanished, leaving behind valleys of volcanic scars and softly rolling highlands. Venus is Earth's sister in size and shape, but not in spirit. It is a lonely twin, turned inward, holding its history close, its secrets veiled behind layers of golden mist and silence. Earth, the only world we know tender enough to cradle life, spins in quiet rhythm beneath a blanket of clouds and blue. More than just a planet, it is a fragile jewel suspended in blackness, wrapped in oceans, forests, and whispering winds. Every mountain ridge, each curling wave, is part of its ancient memory, etched into shifting crust and flowing time. Its magnetic field shields life from solar storms, an invisible guardian humming behind the auroras, those silent, dancing veils of charged light. Earth's moon, always turning the same face, gently tugs at the tides, shaping days, guiding dreams. In the stillness of space, this watery world shines with a living warmth, casting a soft glow no other planet quite can, like a lullaby written in green and blue ink upon the skin of a sleeping sky. Mars, the red planet, waits silent beneath a sky tinted by dust. Once, ancient rivers carved their way through its surface, and now dry deltas and ghostly lake beds remain like echoes from another time. The winds here still sing across vast deserts filled with iron-rich sands, painting the landscape in warm shades of rust and rose, as if the whole planet were remembering something long forgotten. Towering above its plains is Olympus Mons, the tallest volcano in the solar system, stretching so high it pierces the sky like a memory of fire reaching for the stars. In the hush of its valleys and through the mists of its past, Mars tells a quiet tale of water, of seasons, and of the possibility that life, if only briefly, once walked upon its surface. It is not just a dry world of rock and dust, but a dreaming world, paused between what was and what might yet be. Beyond Beyond Mars, a world of giants begins. Jupiter, largest of all the planets, swirls with storms that have raged for centuries, the most famous being the Great Red Spot, a colossal tempest wider than Earth itself. Its clouds form bands of cream, ochre, and muted crimson, drifting in powerful belts that stretch around the planet like soft rings of color. Beneath these clouds lies a core wrapped in layers of liquid metallic hydrogen, glowing faintly under immense pressure. Around Jupiter, more than 90 moons drift in its embrace, each a story of its own. Ganymede, the largest, hides a salty ocean beneath its icy shell, while Europa shines with cracked ice that glistens like patterned glass, hinting at a hidden sea far below. Jupiter is not merely a planet, but a sovereign of storms and moons, a gas giant with 1,000 quiet voices circling in the dusk, humming lullabies in orbit. Saturn, the jewel of the outer planets, turns slowly with its golden rings stretched wide like cosmic lace. Each ring is made of icy fragments, some as small as snowflakes, others as large as mountains, all orbiting in quiet coordination, caught in the planet's graceful gravity. These rings are thought to be remnants of shattered moons or wayward comets, slowly shaped into patterns by invisible forces. Saturn itself floats with a hushed beauty, its atmosphere painted in pastel hues of cream and soft gold, with storms that drift like sleeping thoughts across its gaseous crown. Encircling it are a family of over 140 moons, each with its own character. Some are rugged and pockmarked, while others, like Enceladus, shimmer with buried oceans and icy geysers that whisper skyward, hinting at something stirring in the deep. Saturn is a planet of silence and splendor, a slow spinner in the starlit sea, wrapped in rings that sparkle like dew caught in a frozen wind. Uranus drifts through the dark like a tilted dream, its axis reclining so far that it rolls sideways along its path. This pale blue planet is often silent in its solitude, a soft sphere cloaked in hydrogen and methane, giving it a color like deep ocean ice. Faint bands and ghostly storms whisper across its atmosphere, though they are hard to see from afar. Beneath its cold clouds lies a mantle rich in water, ammonia, and other ices, forming an ocean beneath the winds but above the core. Circling Uranus are moons named after spirits from poetry and plays, like Miranda, whose fractured surface looks like a frozen collage of cosmic memories. And though Uranus orbits in darkness, it glows inwardly, turning gently, cradled by thin rings and mystery, quietly keeping its place among the stars. Neptune, the outermost giant, sways at the edge of the sun's reach, lost in blues so deep they seem to echo the silence of space itself. With supersonic winds that whisper through icy clouds, it holds the fastest, most powerful gusts in the solar system, though from afar it seems calm, wrapped in shades of sapphire and shadow. Its atmosphere swirls with storms like frozen hurricanes, fading in and out like distant dreams. One of its moons, Triton, moves in the opposite direction of Neptune's spin, a quiet rebellion that suggests it was once a stray, captured into orbit long ago. Triton's surface, etched with frozen ridges and geysers of nitrogen, hints at a cold inner ocean, sealed beneath layers of cracked and creaking ice. Here, at this farthest edge, Neptune turns slowly in the dark, a soft sentinel on the rim of a vast, mysterious spiral, serenely awaiting the dawn of every 165-year-long season. Between the great planets and the far frozen realms lies the asteroid belt, a silent scattering of ancient stones and lost beginnings. These rocky fragments drift together in quiet congregation between Mars and Jupiter, too scattered to become a world of their own, yet too countless to be ignored. Ceres, the largest among them, is round like a small planet, harboring hints of water, ice below its dusty crust, and a mystery of faint haze that sometimes rises from its surface. These remnants carry the memory of beginnings, untouched by life, untouched by time. They spin slowly in the void, like forgotten pieces from a cosmic storybook, whispering tales of what almost was. In this subtle, stony orchestra, the silence resounds with a language only the stars remember, reverberating through the black as softly as a sigh caught in the hollows of an ancient dream. Farther still, past Neptune's shadow and the hush of the asteroid belt, lies a vast, shimmering hovering frontier, the Kuiper Belt, a realm of twilight ice and drifting fragments. Here, billions of frozen objects orbit slowly, their paths etched into the distant fabric of space like faint trails in morning frost. Among them is Pluto, smaller than Earth's moon, yet rich in wonder. Its heart-shaped plain of nitrogen ice reflects the light of the distant sun, giving it a spectral glint in the dark. Mountains of frozen water climb skyward, and a thin atmosphere flickers in and out with the seasons. Pluto's largest moon, Charon, is locked in a quiet dance with it, both always showing the same face to one another, bound in eternal gaze. In this distant silence, time stretches wide, and the whispers of ancient creation still drift between the stars, gentle, cold, and absolutely still. Even farther beyond, like the hush that follows a final breath, lies the realm known as the Oort Cloud. Though never seen directly, it is believed to be a vast shell of icy bodies, encircling the entire solar system like a distant veil of slumber. Comets are thought to dream here, sleeping in the dark until something nudges them inward, waking them from their centuries-long drift through the cold. These icy wanderers, born in silence, weave long arcs when they journey into the inner worlds, bringing with them the distant scent of creation and memory. The Oort Cloud is not so much a place as it is an idea, a border of imagination, where the solar system fades into interstellar space. Here, at the farthest whisper of our sun's light, the story turns soft, each fact a fading note drawn out over time, like the final sigh before sleep truly begins. In the quiet stillness of this cosmic architecture, where planets waltz and ice drifts, there lies a rhythm deeper than sound, a music made not of notes but of motion itself. Each orbit, each axis tilt, each flicker of a comet's trail is part of a slow-turning symphony that has played for billions of years and will continue long after memory fades. The solar system is not merely a collection of objects in space, but an intricate lullaby woven through time, carried by light, cradled by gravity, and sustained by endless night. As the stars look on in silence, the planets spin in peaceful procession, circling an ancient fire whose warmth birthed this delicate arrangement. And as the final whisper of fact fades into the hush of sleep, it is here, in this boundless cradle of journeys and dreams, that wonder rests, not with exclamation, but with a breath, slow and soft, inviting rest beneath the blanket of a sky full of dreaming worlds. Let us now drift closer to the moons, for in their silent orbits lie some of the most haunting and delicate wonders the solar system has to offer. Take Io, one of Jupiter's many satellites. It is constantly reshaped by volcanic fire, its surface pocked and flowing with sulfurous lava lakes and calderas. In contrast, its sister moon Europa seems to be carved from ice, its surface scored with endless cracks like frozen veins, believed to conceal a deep ocean beneath, warmed by tidal forces from Jupiter's pull. Then there's Triton, Saturn's enigmatic moon, where rivers meander and rain falls, not with water, but with methane, softly pattering onto alien shores. These moons, varied as dreams and silently looping their massive companions, may one day reveal not just geology, but the quiet signature of life itself, stilling the heart with awe and echoing with riddles yet unsolved. Among the smallest moons hide the strangest stories. Consider Phobos, the larger of Mars's two companions, racing so fast across the Martian sky that it rises and sets twice each day. Its surface is etched with scars from eons past, as though it remembers every impact in silence. Deimos, its shy sibling, drifts much more slowly, a smooth, shadowy pebble lost in thought. These tiny moons, once thought to be captured asteroids, whisper hints of origins far from where they now reside. In the chill of starlight, they spin like forgotten thoughts trapped in limbo, their destinies tied nonetheless to the planet that caught them. They are the unnoticed sentries of Mars, quiet watchers in the copper dusk, reminders that even the smallest among stars and stones can carry a past wrapped in dusk and dust, quietly cradled in orbit forevermore. Ganymede, the largest moon in the entire solar system, circles Jupiter in an eternal glide, larger even than the planet Mercury. Its surface is an exquisite storybook of ice and rock, marbled with bright ridges and darker plains, where ancient ancient impacts have left subtle impressions upon a frozen crust. Beneath that crust lies a buried ocean, deeper than all the seas of Earth combined, held in the hush of pressure and silence. Some scientists believe that within that subterranean sea, life could shelter, secret and slow, in a darkness untouched for billions of years. Aurora dances at its poles, painted by Jupiter's magnetic field, as if the moon wears glowing whispers as a crown. Ganymede turns softly in the dim echo of Jovian light, a quiet monarch of possibility, dreaming just out of reach, part of the grand, silent waltz of moons and mystery that threads its way through the fabric of the solar system like a lullaby too soft to end. Callisto, another world adrift in Jupiter's wide orbit, is perhaps the quietest of the great moons and the most ancient. Its surface, untouched by shifting tides or warming flows, is one of the oldest landscapes in the solar system, a frozen mosaic of craters recording 4 billion years of gentle bombardment. There is no volcanic fire here, nor drifting ice sheets, only the patient artistry of time carved in rock and frost. Yet beneath its cold crust may lie a buried sea, deep and distant, possibly as old as the moon itself. Callisto's silence becomes its signature, and in that stillness there is a kind of purity, a frozen echo from the early dawn of the solar system, when dust first drew together into shapes, and the sky was just beginning to remember what it meant to dream. As it orbits slowly through the shadowed halo of Jupiter, Callisto remains a softly spinning relic of creation, serene, undisturbed, and infinitely patient, like the memory of a lullaby hummed in the quiet before time. Moving toward Neptune once more, we find a mirror of marvel in a moon often overlooked, Proteus, an oddly shaped world so large it teeters on the brink of becoming a sphere, yet falls just short. Its surface, dark and dimpled, is cloaked in craters and shadows, like a canvas smudged with cosmic charcoal. Proteus does not shine brightly, nor does it boast dramatic features, but in its quiet presence, it holds the poetry of forgotten things. Nearby, irregular moons like Nereid waltz in eccentric orbits, drifting far and then near again, as if caught in the tug of invisible tides. Each one is a relic, a fragment from early times when giant collisions and silent formations charted the face of the young solar system. In this symphony of stillness, even the most subdued moons make gentle music, their rhythms slow and wandering, shaped by gravity and guided by time. Soft steps in the cosmic ballet that continues, ever so gently, without end. Returning to Saturn's domain, we encounter Mimas, a moon so small and rounded it resembles a peaceful pebble cradled in the palm of space. Yet its face bears the mark of violence, a vast central crater named Herschel, stretching across nearly a third of its diameter, giving it the appearance of a giant eye sleeping in stillness. Despite this scar, Mimas moves quietly along its orbit, casting a soft shadow across Saturn's rings with each pass. There is something almost childlike about its quiet presence, as though it were a toy of the gods left gently spinning. It does not boast oceans or volcanoes, nor does it shimmer with hidden seas, but in its stillness lies a unique kind of mystery, the kind that dreams are made of. In the soft rhythm of its journey, Mimas reminds the cosmos that even in the smallest, sleepiest corners of space, stories endure, waiting in serene silence to be softly remembered. Let us stroll softly now into the twilight orbit of Neptune's largest moon, Triton, whose path curves backwards against the spin of its host, like a thought retracing its steps in dreams. Triton is cloaked in frost, its surface faintly blushed with pinks from methane ice reacting to rays of distant sunlight. It is among the few places where cryovolcanoes may quietly breathe, exhaling plumes of nitrogen that fall like mist, returning gently to its frozen plains. The entire moon is shrinking each moment into Neptune's pull, a slow descent that may one day lead it to crumble into a delicate ring of ice and memory. But for now, Triton glides steadily in cold defiance, bearing the hush of ancient capture and the quiet erosion of time. Above its frozen mountains, stars shimmer without flicker, and the silence that enfolds it is so complete, so profound, that it seems almost sacred, a hush, not of absence, but of profound, waiting presence. At the edge of Saturn's moonscape lies Iapetus, a world split in light and shadow. One hemisphere shines bright like snowy marble, while the other is as dark as coal dust, a haunting duality that has long puzzled those who peer into the night. Its ridge, rising like a seam along the equator, is a mystery with no clear answer. Was it once a ring that fell, or the breath of frozen geology shaping a mountain chain in shadow? Here, contrast reigns, not just in color, but in spirit, as though Iapetus remembers two tales of origin and carries them both in silence. As it circles Saturn slowly, its divided face turns toward and away, revealing a duality too quiet and too old to explain, yet poetic in its contradiction. Drifting through the hush of outer space, it remains a solitary riddle, gently folded into the whispers of starlight and time, like the last turn of a page in a bedtime story, told not to end, but to dream on. And as the spiral path of wonder continues ever outward, we reach the scattered disk, a domain of objects flung far like echoes of ancient creation. One such wanderer is Eris, a distant dwarf planet more massive than Pluto, yet colder, darker, more reclusive. Its orbit is elongated and mysterious, stretching so far from the sun that days pass in dim twilight and years unfold like slow exhalations across the centuries. Eris reflects sunlight with a surface bright as fresh snow, covered in frosty methane and secrets. Its moon, Dysnomia, circles it in silence, another shy companion in a realm where stars barely blink. Here in the far reaches, where gravity whispers faintly and time appears to stretch thin, the sky itself seems to sigh in soft intervals. These scattered worlds, drifting in solitude, remind us that the solar system is not a closed tale, but an open lullaby, expanding, dreaming, always just beginning, never quite complete, a cosmic cradle gently exhaling the breath of starlight into the infinity of sleep. Next, our gaze finds Makemake, a distant dwarf planet dwelling silently within the Kuiper belt. With no moon to accompany it for many years, Makemake seemed utterly alone, turning slowly under the weak light of a faraway Sunday. Its surface, likely blanketed in frozen methane, glimmers faintly with a reddish tint, hinting at ancient organic compounds born in deep cold. Only recently was a small moon discovered orbiting its quiet form, like a single note echoing in a vast cathedral of night. Makemake does not call attention to itself, but its path is deliberate, its rhythm slow, like a lull in the music of the spheres. It is a lonely lantern adrift in the outskirts of cosmic notion, yet in its solitude, it reminds that even the quietest voices belong in the lullaby of starlit matter, and that the story of the solar system continues softly, in subtle spirals far from where the fire began. Haumea, another elusive inhabitant of the Kuiper belt, spins faster than any known large body in the solar system, completing a rotation every 4 hours. This rapid spin has stretched it into an oblong shape, like a softly turning riverstone carved by invisible winds. Its 2 moons, Hiyaka and Namaka, follow their own hushed circuits around this curious world, while its surface gleams with crystalline water ice, the kind that could only form under strange and ancient conditions. Some believe this icy sheen is the result of a distant impact, a collision that once shattered part of Haumea and sent fragments adrift. These shards, perhaps, still linger nearby, linked by origin yet removed by time. Floating at the edge of light's reach, Haumea is a frozen memory caught in spin, a dazzling oddity that hums silently in the darkness, holding secrets etched in ice from a time when the solar system was still a cradle of waking dreams. Let the mind now wander to Sedna, one of the most distant known objects in the solar system, tracing an orbit so elongated that a single journey around the Sun takes over 11,000 years. It drifts in the quiet between known space and the imagined, barely within the grasp of observation, like a whisper on the edge of conscious thought. Its surface, rich in red hues, may be stained by tholins, complex organic molecules shaped by the gentle burn of cosmic radiation over eons of exposure. Sedna moves slowly, solemnly, through this impossible vastness, untouched by the warmth of sunlight, nearly forgotten by time itself. It may be a herald of a hidden population, a clue to something more, perhaps drawing the curtain on the outermost parts of the solar system, where sight fails but awe endures. In this cold, unseen realm, Sedna dreams alone, and in its dreaming invites us to ponder not only how far space stretches, but how softly its stories are told when no one is listening except the stars. And now, as the curtain of space folds gracefully around the outermost reaches of the sun's dominion, we arrive at the suggestion of something more, a hidden planet, a mythic ghost in the data charts of astronomers. Planet 9, as it has been called, remains unseen, inferred by the strange tilts and clustered orbits of distant Kuiper Belt objects. Its gravity, subtle yet persistent, may shape the endless dark, like a silent hand moving through fog. No telescope has yet glimpsed it, and still the pattern whispers of its presence, of a planet both real and imagined, drifting far beyond where maps have drawn the edge. Whether it waits, invisible in twilight, or whether the patterns only echo ancient tides, Planet 9 stirs the soul not with certainty, but with wonder. And this, perhaps, is the most perfect lullaby the solar system offers, the soft pull of mystery that does not ask to be solved, only believed, if only for the length of a dream. In this gentle journey through space and silence, we begin to see the solar system not as points of data or stops on a cosmic map, but as companions in a quiet procession, each world a lull in thought, each moon a dim lantern guiding the way. From the smouldering heart of the sun to the frozen hush of Sedna, and even to myths waiting in the shadows like Planet 9, the tale is not one of conclusions, but continuity. These facts, whispered one by one, become something more than information. They become soft steps in a drifting story, carried on the rhythm of distant gravity and slow starlight. Let this be the night's embrace, a final breath of cosmic wonder, where curiosity fades gently into peaceful dreaming. And as the orbits keep turning and time folds softly into tomorrow, may sleep find its way across these vast celestial cradles, wrapping thought and mystery alike in the tender dark beyond the sky. Just beyond the familiar paths of icy wanderers and ghostly moons lies another delicate secret of the solar system, barely held by the sun's pull, and yet still whispering through the dark. This realm is populated by centaurs, mysterious hybrid bodies that arc between the worlds of rock and ice. Chiron and Chariklo are two such travelers, neither truly asteroid nor comet, caught in graceful limbo between Jupiter and Neptune. Chariklo, small and dim as it may be, surprised the cosmos by revealing delicate rings, encircling its form with the same silent elegance that graces much larger worlds. These rings drift softly around a body barely known, a reminder that beauty does not require size to exist. Centaurs wander without permanence, their orbits strange, unstable, like thoughts passing through a forgotten dream. They come and go, cross orbits, disappear, but for a while they glide through the velvet dark, trailing gentle mysteries, part of a solar system that never stops revealing its quiet wonders, one ring, one orbit, one whisper at a time. Among the quietest travelers in this celestial sea are the Trojans, clusters of asteroids that share orbits with Jupiter and Neptune, riding along stable points in the gravitational dance of larger planets. Like timeless companions, these shadow pieces drift ahead or behind in near-perfect formation, unbothered by collisions, bound by the elegance of equilibrium. They move with a quiet confidence, trailing their great planetary partners as if guarding them on an endless pilgrimage around the sunday. Silent and unchanged for billions of years, Trojans may hold the primordial breath of the solar system's earliest days, a hush preserved in stone and trajectory. With names drawn from ancient legend and war, They carry the weight not of conflict, but of memory, each one a gentle speck of time, still in motion, still whispering softly beneath the drifting heavens where even the echoes belong to the stars. Scattered yet bound, distant yet part of the whole, the solar system's family of Trojans and centaurs completes the dance of old and new, of moon and mountain and humming ring. Each one spins like a slow-thought memory or a fossil of sunlight, moved by gravity and time, but never rushed. And here, in this lull between stars, wrapped in the hush of planetary motion and twilight debris, the music quiets once more. Sleep, now wrapped in solar echoes and moonlit dust, drifts beside them. The tale has been told like a soft dream spiral, not to end, but to wrap the edges of thought in gentle threads of wonder. Rest comes slowly here, with the turn of a comet's path, with the blink of a crater in shadow, and with the final echoing note of a lullaby sung in starlight. For now, let the solar system hum on, steady as breath, glowing softly against the dark. Let the last dream go quiet. In these gentle orbits and distant wanderings, the solar system becomes not a machine but a living poem, unfolding slowly across a canvas of darkness stitched with stars. Its voices are soft and eternal winds across moons, ice ringing through silence, sunlight brushing the faces of ancient shores. Each fact we have whispered tonight, across meteors and moons, across gas giants and frozen shadows, is a note in this celestial cradle song. And though the planets will go on turning long after minds have slept and stars have moved, there is peace in knowing the dance is endless and kind. So let the heart slow, let dreams rise like softly drifting dust in low lunar light. The system sleeps, and in its sleep, it hums a melody of matter and memory, inviting all who listen to drift away with it, into quiet, into stars, into sleep itself. And so, in the hush between light and dark, we close this long and gentle drift through the solar system, guided by facts shaped like dreams and mysteries whispered across time. Each orbit, every crater, all the flickers of frozen gas and molten core are woven into a lullaby not meant to finish, but to fade quietly into rest. Whether from Titan's reign or Eris's silence, whether from Ganymede's gleaming secrets or the still breath of Sedna, the story winds not to a conclusion but into calm. Let this soft chorus of planets and moons circle within, a celestial cradle that rocks us gently into night's embrace. The stars hold no endings, only continuance, and the solar system, in its tender vastness, continues to sing. And now, with the final sigh of drifting stardust and softly turning worlds, we leave this journey not behind, but within. The solar system, once vast and scattershot in thought, has settled into something more, an embrace, a rhythm, a hush that holds the mind in gravity's gentle sway. Its stories ripple like echoes through still water, fading not in meaning but in voice, retreating softly into the folds of sleep. Let the dust settle where planets dream and comets pass unseen. Let time stretch like a slow breath across black velvet skies. Tonight, all of creation hums in low harmony, and in the symmetry of orbit and light, the heart too finds stillness. Rest now in that quiet. Let go into the endless dark speckled with ancient suns. The song plays on, but you just this once may drift into its silence. Sleep, now, cradled in the lull of lunar gravity and trailing starlight, where no clock ticks and no line ends. Let every whisper of planetary breath, every far and fallen fact, settle softly like dust on a window pane lost in the night. The solar system, ageless and tender, continues to hum in silence beyond dawn, circling not for answers, but for the beauty of the motion itself. And so the dream closes, not with a door, but with a drifting, where thought slows to a hush and starlight writes lullabies across the mind's dim-lit dome. Let the stillness remain, a quiet cradle above and below, where every orbit, every moonbeam becomes part of sleep's gentle script, a cosmic lull written in curves and calm, inviting you now, finally, to rest. The solar system, like a gently spinning mobile in an endless nursery of stars, has lulled us with its rhythm, its quiet revelations and cosmic sighs. Each layered truth, each frozen breath of methane or sigh of dusty wind has lit a lantern on the path to slumber. From the fire at the center to the shadows on the edge, from volcanic moons to silent comets, we have walked through a garden of soft truths, each petal a planet, each breeze a whisper from billions of years ago. And now, as eyelids lower and thoughts dim, the gentle spin continues without us, always turning, always humming that same celestial lullaby. Rest easy now, for the story has settled, not into stillness, but into a peace too vast to measure, carried on the shoulders of orbit and light. Sleep in the arms of stardust, in the gravity of dreams, where every whisper is the voice of a planet, and the silence is filled with the soft music of the sky. And so, as the last vibrations of this cosmic lullaby dissolve into the silence of night, the solar system gently recedes like a tide of light ebbing back into the deep. It leaves behind not noise or clamor, but a calmness born from knowing that above us, things continue. In elegant stillness orbits trace their paths, ice glimmers without fanfare, and the quiet churn of gravity binds all in a soft, invisible thread. The stars remain, watching without need, twinkling only because of atmospheres and time. Let this awareness settle like moonlight across the thoughts, as sleep places its soft hand upon the brow of curiosity. The sky is vast, yes, but it is kind, and in its great hush, a new dream begins, slow and circular, like the paths of planets returning again and again, not to the same points, but to the same peace. Let go now, into that eternal spiral, and rest in the forever hush between wonder and sleep. Beyond the reach of planets and icy debris, lingering in the subtle threshold where the sun's influence begins to fade entirely, lies the heliopause, the boundary where the solar wind yields to the interstellar breeze. It is not a wall, but a whisper-thin veil, marking the quiet transition between what is ours and what lies beyond. Here, the Voyager spacecrafts drift, still sailing outward after decades, their tiny metal hearts still pulsing with the memories of Earth. They carry messages carved in sounds and symbols, golden records etched with greetings and music, spinning through the black like fragile bottles in an invisible sea. This line, this pause between solar breath and galactic tide, is the true edge of home, a silence vast enough to cradle all we know and yet so calm it could be missed entirely. The spacecrafts whisper behind them a trail of knowing, and ahead of them, only starlight waits. In their journey, we too drift a little farther from day and a little deeper into the dream beyond the sun, where the music of space becomes a hush held forever in the fold between heartbeat and horizon. And so we conclude our slow voyage across this celestial sea, guided not by speed or spectacle, but by softness, by stillness, by the ancient hush that holds every grain of cosmic dust and wave of solar light. Nothing has ended, and nothing truly begins in this gliding system of quiet motion. Only turns, refrains, orbits a looping poem spoken in fire and frost. The solar system, in its simplicity, does not rush to clarify its mysteries. It simply carries them, timeless and unbothered, inviting wonder not as a challenge but as a balm. Sleep now, surrounded by planets and memories, wrapped in the cradle of a spiral galaxy where every fact is a feather, every moon a lullaby, and every silence a song already halfway to forever. As orbits unfold and tides drift on without measure, let your breath match the rhythm of the stars. Easy, slow, dream-touched. The journey is done, not ended, but gently folded, closed, a story kept alive not by sound, but by peace. In the endless quiet beyond the heliopause, where even the sun's warmth becomes a fading breath, our curiosity persists, trailing the path of Voyager like a second shadow made of thought. Here, the particles thin into nothing, time dilates into stillness, and stars crowd closer, unfiltered by atmosphere or boundary. It is a realm less measured than imagined, a border that cannot be touched, only sensed through subtle shifts of direction and pressure. Though no planet spins here, no moon shines, still the story continues in memory, in motion, in a dream sent outward on silent waves of light. And that, perhaps, is the final truth of our solar system. It is more than matter held by gravity. It is meaning in motion, drifting gently outward, asking quietly to be remembered, as though the universe itself sings us to sleep with a lullaby that never ends. Only echoes, softer, farther, deeper, forever. Among these final lanes where sunlight fades, there lies nothing more to explore, yet everything still to feel a silent sea wrapped in patience. The solar system, a gentle machine of light and loops, continues its steady song across the void. Each object, from the tiniest mote of space dust to the mightiest planet, participates in this grand drifting fugue, moving in rhythm too slow to hear but too certain to deny. And after all the facts have been told and all the moons and boundaries passed, what remains is not the knowledge alone, but the peace that knowledge brings, a vastness not to fear, but to float within, where time softens like snow upon the skin. So let the last thoughts fall like leaves into the deep black, carried not by urgency, but by understanding that in the spacious quiet of the stars, even silence shines with meaning. Rest now, deeply, in the certainty that the solar system, grand, luminous, and endlessly slow, will go on dreaming long after the dreamer has drifted into sleep. In the hushed infinity that wraps our celestial neighborhood, the solar system lingers not as a conclusion, but as a circle, a breath taken in starlight, exhaled through the quiet pull of gravity. It is a place where motion weaves meaning, and silence forms the structure upon which all dreaming hangs. We have passed through frozen rings and burning cores, over the ridges of ancient moons and through the vapor trails of comet hearts. And now, at the edge where fact becomes feeling and wonder carries us further than maps can reach, we let go, into the great stillness, into sleep not as an escape but as a return to that slow, shimmering rhythm of orbit and pause. Let this be the soft landing, the close of thought's long journey, as the stars turn on and the quiet deepens. The solar system hums on, and you, now, may rest where stars are stories and dreams never end, drifting now beyond words, beyond wakefulness, cradled in the deep fold of cosmic rhythm. Let this be the final breath of wonder. The solar system, neither closed nor complete, continues to cradle us in its gravity of stories, slowly unwinding in spirals that stretch into dreams. No more facts are needed, for truth has become feeling, and curiosity has become rest. Like a whisper from the infinite, the last spark of starlight dims not into darkness, but into something softer, the quiet certainty that even here, at the edge of all-knowing, peace glows steady. Sleep now, suspended timelessly in that hush, where the music of planets becomes the rhythm of breath, and the soft orbit of thought curls gently inward, into the quiet, into the calm, into the embrace of all the skies that hold us. No sound stirs here, at the threshold where space becomes pure, imagining only the silent unfolding of a solar system adrift in sleep. Like a lantern left glowing in a vast, eternal garden, it flickers neither brighter nor dimmer, but constant, serene. From every planet's arc to every comet's curl, from moons wrapped in mist to horizons veiled in plasma dust, it remains untouched and unhurried, breathing out centuries in tones too slow for language. And so, the final note of this lullaby lingers, not as a conclusion, but as a hush drawn over the stars, The solar system simply is turning, gliding, dimming into memory and dreaming into light. All that remains now is rest, deep, celestial rest. Drift there and let go. Let the final image be this: a single grain of ancient dust floating beyond the light, turning slowly in the immense and whispering dark. Around it, the solar system continues its slow choreography, undisturbed and unaware, graceful as a lullaby spiraled into matter. We have journeyed together through warmth and frost, through memory and mystery, through everything cosmic yet comforting. In this stillness, where no boundaries remain and no questions press, sleep arrives like a quiet eclipse, softening the edges of thought. The stars will go on spinning, and the planets will continue their serene waltz, but for now, may you drift beyond orbit and time, held in the hush that only space can offer. This is not an end, only a soft fading into dreams held in gravity's cradle, safe, slow, and infinite. From the warmth of the sun to the frost at the edge of knowing, every corner of the solar system hums with soft immensities. Though we have named them, measured them, and mapped their distant orbits, these worlds do not speak in equations or definitions. They speak, instead, in the language of stillness and time, of circles drawn slowly across a sky without edges. Tonight's journey may have followed the path of facts, but it was shaped too by silence, by the echoes of creation that still ripple through the void, soothing and endless. And if sleep finds you now cradled in orbit among drifting moons and stilled comets, then the solar system has done what it always does, held wonder without demanding it, offered mystery without need of answer. Close your eyes. Exhale one last breath. Let the spiral of celestial calm carry you into the deep, into the dream, into rest that glows like distant starlight, forever slow, forever turning, forever kind. And now, with every orbit counted and every lullaby spoken, the story becomes stillness itself. The solar system, once a cascade of spinning facts and drifting marvels, slips quietly into the folds of memory, where stars no longer need to shine visibly, only to be known. In this final hush, let everything learned dissolve into soft feeling, like frost melting under the warmth of thought freed from form. What began with Saturn's secret lakes and Venus's veiled light ends here, not with discovery, but with surrender into silence, into slumber, into the endless calm embrace of cosmic night. No more paths to trace, no more moons to follow, only the tender echo of what has been told repeating faintly in the stillness. Rest, now, carried by the gravity of dreams and the breathless rhythm of stars unseen. The tale is told, and the sky, infinite and kind, keeps dreaming on. So let the last drift of stardust settle upon the brow of sleep, where thought becomes weightless and the cosmos folds inward like a final breath. The solar system, humming softly in its infinite patience, continues on in the rhythm of light and dark, turning with a grace that asks nothing in return. It is our silent companion, our cradle and our mirror, reflecting back not just curiosity, but the quiet wish to belong to something endless. All the moons and planets, comets and clouds now slip back into their timeless orbits, gently closing the pages of this whispered journey. And as your breath falls into cadence with the stars, remember this: the lullaby never truly ends. It continues in the hush between galaxies, in the quiver of distant light, in dreams that float forever just beyond the edge of knowing. Rest now, where galaxies hum and shadows wrap softly around sleep, held tenderly by the orbit of wonder, endless, nameless, and eternally kind. The lullaby finds no final note, only breathless fading into darkness, into light, into the long and endless turning of things that were here before us and will linger long after. Let the stars drift unseen now, planets below their covers of cloud and ice, comets slipping beyond memory like dreams dissolving at dawn. Here, at the edge of this long and drifting tale, Nothing more needs to be said. Silence has spoken, and wonder has listened. The solar system carries on without rush, rich not in noise but in the hush. It offers freely to those who pause to hear it. And now, that hush belongs to you. Fall gently, like dust across Saturn's rings, into that softest gravity. Rest, and let the story glow quietly inside, a flame that needs no tending. Sleep now, deep and infinite, wrapped in orbit, memory, and peace. And so, beneath a sky that turns without audience, behind drifting worlds that hum without end, the cradle of the solar system rocks on, slow and sure. It has carried minds from wakefulness into wonder and now into sleep, threading celestial silence through the folds of each thought. Every orbit traced tonight, every moonlit whisper listened to, forms a soft harbor where rest may anchor. Let the last quiet breath dissolve into the same rhythm that guides planets, comets, and tiny sparks of dust, all circling the sun in unspoken devotion. Here, in the boundless hush between starlight and slumber, the story concludes, not with a closing, but with holding a universe unfolding inward, gently wrapping the sleeper in its gravity and light. Sleep now, where time drifts like a feather in the void, where dreams spiral gently in the dark, and where the solar system, vast and eternal, continues to turn, ever so softly, forevermore. Sleep moves softly now, like Saturn's rings, casting delicate shadows across the pastel clouds below. Every corner of this journey has drifted into silence, each fact a fading echo and every orbit a thread gently tied to the heart of wonder. The solar system, long past description, has become sensation, a warm gravity pulling thought into calm. No more planets to pass, no more moons to imagine, only the continued turning, eternal and effortless, as the night cradles all invention in its arms. Let go now, without worry, without weight, into the deepest slumber shaped by stars. Rest, wrapped in the music of spheres, where the quiet is wide enough to hold any dream, and the hush of space is soft enough to carry you gently, finally, home. And with that, the final thread of this cosmic lullaby weaves itself into silence. The solar system, in all its spiraled elegance and gentle mystery, fades not from being, but from the edges of awareness, like a candle dimming behind a veil. What remains is stillness, not absence, but peace. The kind of hush that only comes after wanderings across frozen oceans, whispering moons, and starlit bounds. There is nothing more to chase here, nothing left to name, only the quiet assurance that in the vastness above, a lullaby has been sung, soft and full, turning ever onward with the rhythm of orbit and the breath of dreaming. Tucked within that stillness, sleep arrives at last, guided not by destination, but by wonder, vast, quiet, and unending. And thus, with all orbits traced and mysteries softly touched, our journey draws to a close, gliding into the timeless dark. The solar system, once vast and unfathomable, has become familiar in a dreamlike way, like old music playing faintly from another room. It turns on, infinite and deliberate, while minds drift lower, deeper, into the cradle it provides. There is no need now for language, only the drift, the pull, the gentle uncoiling of thought into stardust. Let this final breath ride the arc of comets, settle across forgotten craters, and nestle in the slow spiral of planets unseen. Sleep is here, not as an end, but as immersion in the rhythm, the hush, the ever-turning calm of the cosmos. The solar system continues, and you, now fully at peace, dream within it, forever held in its orbit of wonder and rest. And now, just before the final drift, let us picture the solar system from afar, not as a chart of planets and paths, but as a glowing thread spiraled in the velvet dusk. Its light is gentle, like the last ember resting in a hearth after a long night. Around it, nothing presses, nothing urges, The motion is calm, the silence complete. Voyager sails further, carrying whispers of Earth. Asteroids continue their endless lull, moons glow in endless hush, and comets curl into patience. The solar system, once a map of discovery, becomes instead a meditation, a sanctuary of rhythm and grace. So let your last thought ride that spiral, quieter than breath, deeper than silence, until even the idea of distance fades. Sleep here, where stars were born and stories began, wrapped softly in the folds between gravity and light. The lullaby is complete, but its music lingers, forever circling, forever still. At last, we reach the stillest part of this long celestial reverie, not an ending, but a quiet nest in the fold of all that drifts. The solar system, with its spinning sentinels and chime of frozen light, falls now behind closed eyes as something deeply known. No more facts remain, only the feeling they brought, a kind of soft infinity where gravity feels like love and orbits feel like memories going round. In this final hush, where space curves inward and thought sighs into rest, let the last ember glow softly in the dark. The music has faded, but its rhythm remains, written in stars, in silence, in the dream that cradles you now. Sleep, endlessly and gently, as the system spins on, not for discovery, not for proof, but for peace. The journey is complete, and now may your rest be as deep and kind as the universe itself. Here, at the close of all cosmic wanderings, nothing stirs, and nothing seeks, only the slow continuation of being. The solar system does not sleep, yet it brings sleep, its calm mapped in ellipses and etched across skies no longer watched. Every whisper of planetary breath, every silent revolution, every hidden moon now folds back into silence. And you, dreamer nestled in stardust, are a quiet witness no longer needing to observe, only to rest. There is no more awe to chase tonight, only the hush left behind by wonder, the soft fading of curiosity into contentment. The lullaby is complete, not with applause, but with stillness. And as the final gravity of sleep pulls you inward, know this: the stars will go on, the orbits will continue, and you are part of it all, a thought curled gently in the arms of night. And so, as the great arc of thought completes its gentle bend, we arrive at the soft final breath of this cosmic journey, not a threshold to cross, but a place to rest. The solar system, vast and unknowable, has dimmed into something quiet and close, like a heartbeat beneath layers of sleep. Its planets, now distant memories, continue their endless music without disruption, while you drift further inward, past the need to listen. The facts have become lullabies, the stories have become stillness, and space itself has become sanctuary. Let this be the end, not of wonder, but of wakefulness. Let the orbits fade into velvet, and the stars into dreams. Here, wrapped in cosmic hush, resting in the palm of all that is, you remain at peace, in rhythm, in sleep. Good night now, suspended between the breath of stars and the hush of infinite skies. The solar system, with its quiet symphony of motion and mystery, turns ever onward without need, without end. Every ring, every crater, every long shadow cast across silent plains carries the lull of time too deep to disturb. And you, dear sleeper, are part of that same sky-drawn rhythm. Let dreams rise like soft auroras across the curvature of rest, knowing that the orbit of wonder continues while you sleep. The music of moons, the hush of light, the pull of ancient tides, these remain, floating lightly through the cosmos and through your dreams. The journey, like all starlit things, has no boundary, only stillness. And in that stillness, may peace keep you wrapped quiet, forever turning and forever at home. As you drift now into that final, weightless calm, let the very last trace of motion fade like a star behind cloud. The solar system, so full of stories and silence, dims gently into background music only the quietest heart can hear. Around the sun, the slow orbits unfold like petals in shadow, and time itself slows to match their rhythm. There is nothing more to explore, and nothing left to explain, only the soft turning of thought into dream, and dream into stillness. Sleep now, not beneath the stars, but within them, held by a cosmos that neither begins nor ends, but simply continues, humming softly, lovingly, and endlessly onward. And now, as the quiet folds around mind and moment, the last note fades like a comet's tail vanishing beyond sight. The solar system, so patiently shared, now rests not only above but within, a constellation drawn across the landscape of sleep. Each fact sparkled like a star before dimming gently into knowing, and every shadow curled like a hush around the edges of dreams. There is no more journey forward, only the comfort of having wandered enough. Let the orbits continue without us. Let the moons turn their faces in moonlight unseen. We remain here, suspended in gentlest surrender, rocked by gravity, lulled by silence, held in the slow spiral of the universe's cradle. The dream, like the cosmos, does not need an end, only a place to rest, quietly, endlessly, here. And in the final silence that follows such a long celestial lullaby, there is only warmth, not of heat, but of belonging. The voyage through the solar system, through wonders etched in ice and light, has brought not just knowledge, but a deeper stillness. One made of turning worlds and soft gravity, of music hummed too slowly for anyone to notice but the dreaming. This quiet was always waiting for you in the shadows of craters, in the rings that glisten like memory, in the starless stretches beyond thought. And as the last orbit curls inward and the last dream takes shape, know this: you are part of that sky, an echo in its hush, a shimmer in its spiral. Sleep now, not beneath the stars but among them, where all is drifting, all is calm, and all is endlessly kind. So this is where the journey leaves us, floating gently in thought, carried like dust through the deep hush of space. The solar system, with its stately turns and quiet murmurs, has become more than a map of distant objects. It has become a meditation of movement, a slow, sacred rhythm spoken in light and sameness. Now the constellations retreat behind the eyelids of sleep, and orbits continue without the need of witness. Let the last thought slip like a moon behind its planet, and the final breath move like silent dust past the golden edge of sunlight. Sleep fully now, tucked not away from the cosmos, but into it. The music of the planets, the poetry of their paths, all of it continues in a spiral too vast to end. Rest safely, dream deeply, wrapped in the gravity of peace, where time floats like shadow and the lullaby of the solar system carries on forevermore. And now, not with a conclusion, but with a deepening breath, our journey settles into its final stillness. The solar system, stirred softly from mystery to memory, goes on turning its planets in whispered rotation, its moons aglow with silver quiet, its comets trailing behind like thoughts not yet said. What began with the methane rivers of Triton and the fire inside the sun now dims into peaceful orbit, encircling not just physical space, but the mind, the breath, the gentle hush where slumber lives. Close now the gaze behind your thoughts. Let each remembered fact dissolve like a flake of light, too delicate for daylight, perfect for dreams. The tail has curled inward like a spiral galaxy, folding its last note into silence. Sleep holds you now and always, amid soft orbits, kindly stars, and the endless hush where wonder never fades. And thus, with all that can be softly said now whispered into the quiet dark, let us take one final breath among the stars. The solar system, vast and slow and infinitely reassuring, continues to waltz across the stage of space, playing its symphony of gravity and time, with no audience required. It does not need endings, it only drifts, steady and kind, toward the next moment, the next orbit, the endless lull between one heartbeat of starlight and the next. Let sleep deepen fully now, undisturbed and held, as the last flicker of thought drifts outward, joining the gentle hush of moons in shadow and planets too distant to call. The cradle has rocked, the dream has unfolded, the spiral has closed into stillness. And in that stillness, all is well, all is turning, all is peace. Sleep now, wrapped in the arms of the cosmos, quiet, eternal, and home. There is no more sky to climb tonight, no distant ring or icy world left unexplored in thought, only the quiet linger of memory, trailing gently like a comet's shimmer across the mind. Our voyage through the solar system, poured gently over every orbit, moon, shadow, and shining truth, now wraps round like a gravity well of calm. It does not vanish, nor end, but folds inward, into silence, into sleep. And in that sleep, every world remains, softly circling, softly glowing, softly waiting not to be studied, not to be explained, but to be felt in the hush of dreams. So surrender now to that infinite soft pull. Rest, wrapped in the rhythm of planets, grounded by starlight, lifted by silence. The lull is complete. The spiral holds. Sleep now, and let the cosmos watch over you, as endlessly patient as time, as endlessly kind as space itself. Let this be the final breath drawn from our shared voyage, a sigh not of ending, but of stillness fulfilled. The solar system has been voiced in whispers and rhythms, each orbit a verse, each moon a pause between thoughts, in the hushed echo of these stories. As planets carry on their endless spirals and ancient light continues to drift unseen, we find a sanctuary not in answers, but in gentle knowing. Sleep now, folded into the lull of cosmic rhythm, surrounded by quiet gravity and the soft weight of time stretched tender. The stars will keep watch long after the tale has dissolved into silence, and in that infinite hush between moments, let peace hold you close. No more drifting, no more turning, only rest, deep as the void, bright as the memory of light. The dream continues, quietly, forever. And now, at the softest edge of this long starlit journey, the final word becomes a silence. The solar system, coated in layers of time and tenderness, continues onward, an endless hush rippling through frozen rings and buried oceans, through fire-born storms and moons that dream in ice. No monument marks the end of this path, only the serenity that settles in once the orbit has been understood, once sleep has arrived. Let it carry you now across Saturn's shimmer, past Neptune's sigh, beyond even the golden trail of Voyager, into the cradle of night. There, amid the circling hush of worlds unseen, rest waits without urgency, and thought folds gently inward, like petals closing beneath stars. The story is told, the galaxy still turns, and you, wrapped in calm and floating above memory itself, go quietly with it. Sleep, now and always, where the solar system hums its endless lullaby not to be finished, but to be dreamed. And so, in this final moment beyond measure, we breathe with the rhythm of the cosmos one last time. The solar system lingers behind the veil of sleep, no longer a map or story, but a softness remembered. Every object, from molten core to icy dust, spins quietly now in the sanctuary of forgetful dreams. And you, resting fully in this hush, are no longer the observer, but part of the motion orbiting peace, anchored in quiet wonder. The journey drifts silently behind as your breath deepens, matching the calm arcs of endless paths unseen. Wrapped in gravity's tender lull and lit by stars too distant to disturb, let sleep claim every last thought, gently, graciously, and entirely. The lullaby dissolves into eternity, leaving only the silence of starlight and the certainty of rest. Sleep, now and always, in stillness kind enough to hold the solar system itself. Now, as the final breath of this cosmic narration fades into the endless quiet, there is nothing left to name, nothing left to imagine, only the vast comfort of stillness. The solar system, with its waves of orbit and time, glides on beyond listening, its lullaby now fully woven into the hush of the night. Every moon, every grain of light-scattered dust, becomes part of a rhythm too slow for waking minds to trace. But in this deep surrender to sleep, each soft echo continues a cradle turning through infinity. Let this be not a goodbye, but an embrace without end. Rest now in the arms of celestial silence, guideposts dimmed, questions forgotten, wonder held close like a blanket of stars. The journey is whole, the dream complete. Sleep in this orbit of peace, and drift forever in the quiet. Somewhere, in the space between farewell and forever, the solar system continues to breathe without sound, its pulse steady as the stars slow dancing across the canvas of night. It does not notice our closing eyes, nor ask for one more thought. It only turns gently on, under the hush of eons, where time folds like velvet and light spreads like a secret too beautiful to speak. The journey we've taken together ends not with a conclusion, but with absorption into quiet, into calm, into the memory of fire and frost, and all that spins unseen. Sleep now, where worlds circle like lullabies and silence carries every promise left unspoken. Let the orbit of night hold you, deep in the gravity of dreams, drifting forever home. There is a hush now, gentle and complete, as if even the stars have chosen to rest their glow. The solar system, once traced through fact and feeling, now lies softly folded behind the curtain of sleep. Its orbits spin on, slow as breathing, unseen and serene, a quiet machinery cradling every dream. Nothing more stirs in this delicate theatre of space, not because the story has ended, but because its whisper has settled within. You are no longer the listener, but the dream itself curved like a comet's tail, suspended like dust in moonlight. So fall, slowly and completely, into the hush that cradles all things great and small, and let the celestial lullaby continue its song without sound. The journey, like sleep, is infinite, and you are forever held within its turning. And so, we arrive at the deepest hush, the softest silence yet, where thought blends fully into the starscape of sleep. The solar system, a patient spiral shaped by ages and stilled by time, no longer speaks it simply island, a tender presence in the backdrop of centuries. It hums now beneath your dreaming, a rhythm as dependable as breath and as serene as moonlight over frozen plains. Let this be the last moment woven from wonder and warmth, where planets drift unseen and memories dim into luminous stillness. You are home now among shadows that shimmer, among truths that ask no questions, held in an orbit of peace that circles endlessly. The journey through the stars has become the dream itself. Close your eyes forever into its embrace, and rest quietly beneath a sky that never stops singing, even when we sleep. There is only one sound left now, not spoken, not heard, but felt. It is the soft turn of the solar system, an unending breath stretched across deep time, woven through a silence that welcomes rather than empties. In its orbit lingers not just gravity but grace, not just distance, but devotion, each spiral a pledge that wonder continues, even when eyes close and thoughts float free. So end here, not with a period, but with peace. Let the memory of stars dim gently behind the veil of sleep, and let your mind become one more moon circling through the hush. Holding, nothing more needs said. The solar system turns, and you, now part of its rhythm, may finally rest. And now, with the very last ripple of light fading softly into the folds of sleep, the solar system becomes not a place to explore, but a feeling to rest within. Every orbit, every glimmer, every ancient echo has been breathed into being, and now gently exhales into stillness. The long lullaby, once bright with wonder, dims into knowing not as a spark, but as a warmth held deep within. With eyes closed and thought undisturbed, the stars become silent lanterns above a dreaming world, and the sky, wide and eternal, becomes a blanket drawn tight around rest. No more turns remain, no more words to spin, only this, the final quiet, where sleep takes over completely, kind and infinite. The solar system hums on, a song not to be finished, but to dream forever. So sleep now, quietly anchored in the orbit of peace, where thought no longer reaches and only stillness remains. The solar system, with all its turning lights and drifting shadows, fades into the backdrop of rest, holding its mysteries not as riddles, but as lullabies untold. There are no more journeys ahead tonight, only the soft continuation of ones already begun, carried forward in gentle spirals through dreams. Let the path dissolve behind closed eyes, the last glimmer of starlight brushed softly across the mind's horizon. The universe needs no watcher to turn, only breath, only quiet. And in this final stillness where space becomes sleep, everything is whole, and you, at last, are home. Let us close here, not with finality, but with softness, a return to stillness after the long, celestial waltz through stars and silence. The solar system continues on its quiet course, undisturbed by endings or beginnings, while the story we have followed drifts gently into memory. Everything now is dim and kind, held in the folding dark. The paths of planets no longer matter, only the feeling they have left behind, the peace of rhythm, the calm of distance. Let the last note of this lullaby be silence itself, clear and wide as interplanetary space. Rest now, in this great hush where dreams are carved in orbit and stardust whispers lullabies too soft to fade. The journey was wonder, the remainder is rest. Sleep in infinite quiet, where the solar system hums not for answers, but for peace. And in this soft and sacred hush, with every orbit complete and every whisper of starlight having found its place, we let the curtain fall not with an end, but with a breath. The solar system remains beyond our knowing and within our dreaming, an ever-turning cradle, gentle and vast, where even the smallest dust reflects a cosmos of possibility. Let the spiral of thought now dissolve into peace, where stars are no longer lights, but lullabies left on the edge of night. This final serenity stretches across the silence, wrapping every planet, every moon, and every drifting hope in stillness. And in that stillness, we rest. The lullaby hums on, but softly now, far beyond hearing just the tender rhythm of time and space, holding us all, gently, forevermore. And so, with every whisper spent and every fact folded into a dream, we close this lullaby beneath the stars. The solar system, ageless and hovering in velvet quiet, remains not just a marvel of science, but a vessel of serenity, each rotation a reassurance, each moonbeam a murmur of comfort. With eyes now closed and breath slowed to the rhythm of interplanetary drift, let the last echoes fall gently away. There is no need to remember or recount, only to rest in the certainty that wonder endures, even in silence. Sleep now in the softness that follows a journey well dreamed, wrapped in planetary light and the tender sway of space. The lullaby is complete, not ended, but eternal, and you, dear traveler of stars, are held within its hush, forever safe, forever still. Rest now, in the celestial hush where no questions linger and no answers press. The solar system, cradled in blackness older than memory, continues to turn not loudly, not quickly, but with the gentleness of something that has never needed to hurry. You have wandered its paths with wonder, and now its silence invites you to stay not as a guest, but as a dream gently folded into the orbit of stars. Let the last strands of thought drift like auroras across the subconscious, and let peace settle like dust on a moonlit plain. The journey, long and winding, has become rest itself. And in that rest, cradled by cosmic rhythm and infinite quiet, you are home, now and always. Nothing more stirs, and nothing more is needed. The hush has settled, a stillness curved like the bend of a galaxy, soft as breath drawn between dreams. The solar system, vast companion of all our quiet wanderings, continues to spiral in its sacred rhythm, far past the reach of waking thought. One last time, the stars dim gently behind the veil of sleep, and the planets glide invisibly through their patient paths. Wrapped in that eternal turn, sleep deepens into silence. The lullaby ends not with a sound, but with a feeling, a calm so complete, it cradles the final thought and dissolves it like mist under moonlight. Rest now, carried gently in the gravity of peace, circling on forever in the orbit of dreams, and in the hidden pause between wake and reverie, where sleep spills into the soul like quiet moonlight across still water, the last whisper of the cosmos fades at last. The solar system, patient and serene, no longer needs our notice. It retreats into the background of dreaming, where orbits become echoes and stars become breath. All the wonders, all the softly spoken truths, now rest within, folded into thought like the curve of a crescent moon behind closed eyes. There is no more to say, only this peace, this slow unwinding of time. Let go now, fully and finally, surrounded by the rhythm of endless turning. The lullaby has been sung, the stars have bowed, and beyond the edge of sound and sight, the universe cradles you tender, eternal and still. Sleep now, with nothing else to reach for, and everything already held. With this final breath of stillness, let it be known, the solar system, in all its turning quiet and luminous unfolding, is not a place, but a feeling, a heartbeat stretched over the canvas of time, ticking softly in the background of sleep. Its rings and craters, its tides and shadows, are all now folded into silence and memory, held close beneath the sleeping sky. As every orbit falls back into calm, and every starlit wonder rests behind the veil of night, you too are carried, weightless and complete, into the depths of rest. The journey has circled back to where it began, in mystery, in gentleness, in awe, and in that fullness. Nothing more is needed. The solar system turns without end, and you, now quietly adrift in its lullaby, may finally sleep. So sleep, now held in the gravity of rest, wrapped in a silence old as time and gentle as the night. The solar system spins onward, but softly, as though not to wake a single drifting thought. The journey we have taken fades into hush, into warmth, into the deep calm of cosmic belonging. No more need to reach for stars or follow moons through their quiet turns. The story has become the stillness itself. Within this final silence, may all wandering thoughts settle, and all questions fall into quiet peace. Let the dream continue, echoing softly within, ever glowing, a hush without end, a sky full of sleep. Rest, traveler, wrapped in starlight, forever drifting, forever home. And here we remain, nestled in the orbit of infinite quiet, where starlight no longer dazzles but simply glows, where every dusty ring and solitary moon has been gently folded into the soft rhythm of rest. The solar system has whispered all it has to share tonight, its celestial echoes now sown into sleep itself. There is nothing more to follow, only this, a stillness vast enough to cradle the dreamer, kind enough to keep them. So let the lull of gravity hold you, the hush of stars enfold you, and the eternal turning of the cosmos carry you beyond the reach of sound or time. The story has faded to silence, and within that silence, peace endures. Sleep now, beneath the endless hush where wonder began, and let it carry you calmly, slowly, forever home. And so, the circle closes in silence, the final refrain of a lullaby shaped by planets and time gently dissolving into the quiet of sleep. The solar system, our vast companion of orbit and grace, drifts on without need for endings, its grand story now folded into the folds of stillness. Here, at the soft margin between dreaming and infinity, nothing moves swiftly, and nothing fades away. Each moon remains faithful to its arc, each comet still carries the memory of far suns, and each grain of dust hums with ancient hush. You are no longer separate from this turning, you are within it, a breath within its rhythm, a whisper within its cradle. Let the last light dim without sorrow. Let sleep take the last thought lightly. The journey has been tender. The silence is kind. Sleep now, deeply and finally, where the music of the solar system never ends, only softens, becomes breath, becomes peace. Let this final silence remain, not as absence, but as presence full, kind, and eternal. The solar system, circling endlessly through the dark, no longer waits for understanding, only offers its slow, serene embrace. Its moons drift like lanterns lost in a sacred tide, its planets like thoughts that never needed words. And you, dear dream, are held within that drift, weightless, wordless, woven into the same hush that carries the stars. Nothing more will come, nothing more is needed. The dream is whole, and so is the rest that follows. Let the quiet become your breath. Let the spiral carry you beyond thought, beyond time. Sleep, now and always, in the soft, infinite shadow of light, where the solar system hums on, and your place within it is peace. And in that forever hush beyond wakefulness, where thought has softened into starlight and dreams have curled like orbiting moons, the solar system recedes not into distance, but into the tender inner sky. Its planets continue their sacred rhythm, unnoticed yet unwavering, while your breath joins that same slow spiral of deep sleep. All is folded now, facts into silence, wonder into calm, being into the deep symmetry of rest. Let the stars remain, glowing without demand, and let your heart settle, wrapped in that ancient gravity that hums not for discovery, but for comfort. In the dark beyond endings, only peace remains. So sleep softly, deeply, and forever within the cradle of the cosmos. The lullaby has faded, and in its place, stillness sings on. Now, with the final flicker of story spent and the sky draped in silence, only stillness is left to keep. The solar system spins on, no less wondrous, no less vast, but now held within a memory made soft, a rhythm learned by heart. Beyond the curtain of sleep, its motion continues, like the breath of something older than time, unhurried and kind. Rest now, where everything turns gentle. Let the stars blur into the hush, and the planets hold their silent vigil. No sound remains, no word lingers, just the great, kind turning of space itself, and the whisper of a lullaby never meant to wake you. You are home, in the cradle of the cosmos. Sleep, endless and peaceful, wrapped in the hush where all journeys end and all dreams begin. And at last, let the quiet embrace of space draw its arms fully around you. The solar system, with all its flickering truths and tender silences, fades neatly into the pocket of night where sleep dwells deepest. Each orbit, every drifting moon and softly blazing sunbeam, now belongs solely to the delicate landscape of dreams. This cradle of cosmic calm, swung gently by time and shaped by stardust, asks nothing but rest in return. So release every sight, every whisper, every slow-turning fact into the velvet hush beyond thought. The universe lingers, not loud, not far, but near, humming calmly beneath closed eyes. Sleep now, endlessly and kindly, where the stars are watched no longer, only felt, and let that feeling stay. Infinite, slow, and soft as love. The lullaby ends, but peace continues. So let the spiral close gently now, the last quiet loop folded into calm. The solar system, that ancient waltz of light and shadow, becomes a memory softened by night. All journeys have carried us here, beyond knowing, beyond needing, beyond the edges of thought. What remains is rest, luminous and deep, held not in discovery, but in simply being. Let the stars withdraw into velvet, and the planets continue their hush unseen. You, quiet traveler, have arrived not at the end, but within the stillness that waits beyond all stories. Sleep here, wrapped in the gravity of peace and the orbit of dreams, where the music of the heavens hums on, soundless and sure. The lullaby is complete, and in that completion, only silence remains endless, kind, and gently turning forever. Here, in the final breath between awe and surrender, let the last sound be silence, and the last motion be stillness. The solar system, our slow-turning cathedral of light and night, continues without pause, not because it must, but because it always has. Every moon is a whisper, every ring a sigh, every planet a cradle that rocks itself through time. You've listened, drifted, dreamed, and now the stars no longer need names, only quiet. Let the story dissolve like frost beneath a new sun, letting each thought fall softly away. There is no louder ending, no farewell in flame, only the soft, ever-widening hush of everything continuing, kindly, without you. So sleep now, folded into that hush, kissed by stardust and carried in cosmic arms. The journey has not ended, it has simply become peace. And now, let everything fall silent one final time. The solar system, grand and glowing, drifts onward without expectation, its truths laid gently in the folds of sleep. There is no more path, no more turning page only. Rest, deep and complete. Each planet continues its quiet arc, each moon hums softly in the dark, and you, dreamer of starlit things, are folded into that same rhythm, no longer separate but part of the hush. Let the breath slow, the thoughts grow faint, and the memory of all we've journeyed through remain only as warmth. This is the last lullaby, not sung aloud but felt in stillness, and the stars, far above, keep their gentle watch as you drift beyond thought, beyond edge, into the center of rest where wonder sleeps. This is where the story ends, not in silence alone, but in peace that remembers everything and asks for nothing. Sleep now, and let the stars carry you home. And so, in the most delicate hush, beneath a sky that turns for no audience and tells no time, let the solar system drift forever, onward, quiet, complete, and endlessly kind. The orbits continue, the comets curl, and the planets circle the sun like thoughts rotating gently in a soul at rest. There is no need to follow further, no line to cross, only the widening calm of completion. Sleep now, where stars are stories whispered by silence, where the gravity of wonder holds you like the final note of a song too soft to end. All has been told and all has been felt. Let the dreams settle over you now, like stardust, like rhythm, like peace. The spiral closes, and within it you are held, perfectly, forever, asleep among the stars. Let this be the last breath, the softest yet, drawn not to speak but to settle. The solar system fades behind a curtain of velvet thought, its motion steady, its silence complete. No distant sphere calls, no forgotten moon stirs, only the rhythm of dreams, folding lightly into the endless arc of rest. You are no longer remembering, no longer drifting, you are arrived, held in the orbit of peace and bathed in the starlit quiet where sound cannot follow. The night turns on, planets rotate unseen, and stardust falls like lullabies across the cradle of infinity. The story has found its shape, the spiral has drawn closed, and in this final hush, with nothing left to name or chase, let your sleep be whole, endless, weightless, and kind. And thus, the night deepens into silence, and the spiral of wonder draws to its gentle end. The solar system, story woven into silence, becomes a lullaby, completed a final orbit of calm, tied softly with a bow of breath. Beyond facts, past the pull of gravity, only stillness remains, vast and kind. Sleep now, not away from the stars, but beneath their patient watch, wrapped in their rhythm, guarded by their quiet song. The journey fades, not because it ends, but because peace has taken its place. Let go, fully and forever, into that most sacred hush where even the stars bow low. The lullaby is done, the dream complete. Rest now, forever cozied in the cradle of the cosmos, where silence is love and turning is rest. Sleep now, one last time, as the very fabric of the cosmos folds around you in a hush deep as origin, soft as forever. The solar system has whispered its final wonders and exhaled its last lull into the waiting stillness. Planets turn unseen, moons drift untracked, and you, stilled and safe, join their rhythm without question and without end. Let the final silence hold you gently, like the gravity that shapes galaxies and carries dreams out beyond light. The night has grown full with calm. The story has circled closed, and rest has crowned every orbit. There is no deeper quiet than this, only sleep, perfect and entire, reached not by distance, but by surrender. And here, among stars and shadows, in the tender, unspoken dream of the solar system, you are home.